Breaking news! A new episode of Let's Be Frank starting now!
Hello all! So remember the last time I did one of these videos? I talked about 3 Pokemon that I really like that I hear so many people complain about. Well, thankfully I have good taste. So a lot of the Pokemon that I like don't get hated on very often. I'm sure there are definitely more, but today I wanted to focus more on a group of Pokemon that get hated so much for little to no reason. Now, I don't necessarily love these Pokemon. I'm pretty neutral on them, to be honest. But it just confuses me how they've garnered so much of this just negative energy for no reason. And so I'm gonna defend them anyway. Even if they're not my favorites, I still want the world to realize that they're not worth complaining about. So let's go ahead, let's jump right into it. And let's start off with a group of 3 Pokemon at once, actually, that everybody seems to hate, and I just don't know why. Okay, I'm sure some of you can already tell where I was going, but the elemental monkeys, Simisage, Simipour, and Simisear, they get probably more hate than any other groupings of Pokemon ever. They're really not that bad. Unlike the 3 Pokemon I talked about last time, those being Rhyperior, Magmortar, and Inteleon. Now, I don't really care much about these 3 Pokemon. I did mention that at the start of the video. Yeah, they're fine. They're not my favorites. They're fine. Not worthy of hate. Listen, I understand. The designs are a bit funky with their oddly flesh-colored bodies under their tight matching fur. But honestly, besides that, their designs really aren't bad. To be honest, as per the usual opinion, I do think Simisear is the worst of the 3, but even still, he's not terrible. It does have a kind of a dumb look on its face, and its pose is weird, and it just doesn't look natural to me. But even after saying that, I still don't dislike the Pokemon. My order would be Simisage, Simipour, Simisear. Simisear's fine. Simipour is pretty cute. Simisage is just a really cool Pokemon, probably in my top 10 to top 15 favorite of Generation 5. That whole grouping of the elemental monkeys, I think people need to give them more of a chance and be kinder towards them. I especially don't think Simisear deserves to be the least popular Pokemon of all time. Like, come on, you remember Jinx. I talked about Jinx a lot last episode because it deserves to be hated. Look at it. How is this not the least popular Pokemon of all time? Or Aromatisse? Guys, Simisear over Aromatisse and Jinx? Come on. Let's move to Generation 9, the most recent generation of Pokemon, to discuss this next guy. Spidops isn't that bad. You guys are just being mean. Spidops is another Pokemon that really isn't a favorite of mine. But I also just can't understand why so many people vehemently hate it. A lot of what I hear stems from 2 things: design or stats. As far as the stats go, yeah, they're not great, I'm not gonna lie. But let's compare it to some other single stage, early route bug types. Ariados may have better attack and slightly better speed stats, but Spidops beats it out in defenses. Ledian loses to Spidops in a lot of areas, except for special defense and speed. Parasect has similar stats to Spidops, only really beating it out in any meaningful way when it comes to attack. Masquerain only beats it out in special attack and speed. You see what I mean? Spidops is slow. A lot of these weaker bug-type Pokemon are definitely faster than Spidops, but speed's only going to get you so far if you can't take a hit. Spidops tops all these Pokemon in defense pretty much across the board. So as far as early route bugs go, if you want a tankier one, Spidops is your guy. It can't hit as hard, to be fair, and it's gonna take a little bit longer to hit. But really, these early Route 1 bugs are not meant to carry you throughout the entire game. And nobody complains about Ariados or, Masquerain nearly as much as they complain about Spidops. Really, y'all are only complaining so much about Spidops because it's new. And I get it. Generation 9 really didn't introduce us to that many new bug-type Pokemon. Good bug-type Pokemon. Rabsca is pretty good, but it and Rellor just have horrendous-looking faces, so design-wise, I'm kind of iffy on it. Everything else about Rabsca is cool, by the way. Just, that face is a bit uncanny. So the other side of things, looking at design, I don't see a problem here at all. A special ops agent who uses its webbing as a garrote, that's extremely cool. Its shiny is a bit weird, definitely an odd choice, but realistically, I see no problems with Spidops. It's not super high on my list. It's right there in the middle of just being alright. But does it deserve the hate? Absolutely not. Finally, let's go ahead and talk about a Pokemon that I do actually really like. I've got really high opinions about this guy, so let me defend him next. And that Pokemon would be Granbull. Such a good boy. A big scary dog standing on its two legs. I get it. It's like a purple fairy type. Maybe it doesn't look that scary to you, but I just recently used a Granbull in a playthrough of Shining Pearl, and I really enjoyed it. It's got a really, really good attack stat. Its other stats aren't amazing, but with a super high attack stat, I love using it. Its moveset is actually rather diverse, too. Learning all of the elemental fang moves, the stab, play rough, outrage, close combat, crunch, and more. I think the thing I've heard people complain about the most are its flesh fangs. Listen, I get it, they look like they're under the skin, yes. But it's just never bothered me before. I don't really have much more to say about it than that. This isn't like the last video where I could justify design choices like Inteleon's long fingers. I don't know why they made the fangs like that. Maybe if they were actually like bone-looking fangs like other animals in real life have, that would completely fix people's problems with Granbull. But I think it's a really cool Pokemon. I know. I'm really happy it received the fairy type because it actually gave it, something good to have with things like stab, play rough. Overall, Granbull is just a really fun Pokemon, and it's so upsetting to hear people complain about it. I don't even really have much more to say about it. I just really, really wish Granbull was a more popular Pokemon. I don't even like Snubbull very much, to be honest. I think Snubbull into Granbull is quite the change, because it goes from looking like this really, really ugly, like little dress-wearing dog thing to this cool monster of a Pokemon to a pocket monster. There we go. That's exactly what he should be. Well, there you have it, guys. Those are just some Pokemon I feel like shouldn't be hated. Maybe they shouldn't be absolutely beloved like the ones I talked about last time. But I just think you guys should give them more of a chance. It's been a lot of fun talking about Pokemon that shouldn't be hated. Maybe next time I can talk about Pokemon that actually deserve to be hated. Ones that I think need to be hated more than they already are. A good one that comes to mind, Alolan Dugtrio. Everybody hated it when it first came out, but I've seen some sort of resurgence that it's a really cool Pokemon. This is such a dumb design, guy. You know what? That's it. I think I will talk about it. I think I will do a video on Pokemon that deserve more hate. Dude, I'm gonna flip the script. If you want to see that, go ahead and like this video and subscribe. Hit the bell button so you know when it comes on out. Follow my Instagram and Facebook, Let's Be Frank 2020, and follow my TikTok. For some reason, I hardly post anymore. At Let's Be Frank TikTok. Why did I say that? Follow the TikTok, please. Maybe it'll convince me to post more. With all that being said, thank you so very much for watching, and until next time!